Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. Settle back. I have a great show today. I've been waiting for this show for a number of weeks. I mean, when we talk about it at DotCom Magazine, on the show, on this series, we're always talking about empowering entrepreneurs. That's what we're all about. And whenever we get someone who really understands strategy, somebody that really understands how to empower visionary entrepreneurs to achieve their goals in various verticals, various spaces, we bring them on the show, and we have a real leader in the space today. So settle back, enjoy the show. You're going to learn so much. We've been able to bring Mr. Pascal Bachmann, and Pascal is the CEO and founder of Strategy Achievers. And let me tell you, he's an international speaker. He's an author. He's really a life and business strategist who really empowers and coaches entrepreneurs and business people to really be successful leaders, not only in their business and their life, but also to understand how PR works in this entire ecosystem. So Pascal, welcome to the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Hey, Andy, nice being here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited too. Like you said, we waited a long time for this. So here we are.
Yeah, I love having you on the show. Of course, you've built an entire framework. I mean, you've become a go-to leading expert in what I'm calling helping entrepreneurs and businesses understand what it takes to really get the word out there, to really position themselves, to really have social validation and social proof about what they're envisioning in the future. But before we get started, we have so many questions, a lot of questions from the audience, of course, that came in. Let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet. Tell us about what you're doing at the company, and then we'll get into it.
Right. Thank you for that. We do a lot, and still do we focus on one thing, not just something that we recommend to do. All these entrepreneurs out there, I know it's exciting and everybody wants to do a lot, and we have a lot of knowledge and experiences in different areas. And still, to be successful, not only needs a strategy, but also a very clear focus. And you mentioned it before, the word vision. Many of us have a vision. We are on mission. We have all that stuff. But what does it really mean? Am I really on mission with what I do, how I think, act, and feel every single day? And this is what we do with Strategy Achievers. I believe credibility, authority, positioning today, 2022, 2023, and forward is probably one of the most important thing that an entrepreneur needs to incorporate and think about in their strategies. Because I want to drop a little bomb right in the beginning here. It is not the best product or brand that wins. It is the best and well-known product or brand that wins. And this is our responsibility. How do we go out there? How are we perceived? What is the perception of our potential clients, of the society in general? And we can control that. We are in control what we get out there about us, and therefore we can influence what the reader thinks and believes about us. And this is what we do with Strategy Achievers, to really position entrepreneurs' personal brands the way they want to be perceived based on their credibility, authority, that makes them who they are, not just within them, but also, and I believe we deserve that for what we do, in the eye of the society.
Yeah, I love it so much. You dropped the bomb. I mean, here at the beginning of the show, I love it. So it's not always the best company, the best person, the best personality that wins. It's the one that people know. I mean, you can have the greatest technology, the greatest personal brand in the world, but if nobody knows about it, then you're going nowhere fast. So you have this real interesting look at the way in which people and companies need to sort of position themselves as successful leaders, as successful businesses. Also, they need to position themselves as a life leader as well. And you really empower this entrepreneurial vision with what you're doing at Strategy Achievers. I love it so much. Let's talk about it, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs watch the show, Pascal, and they may have a great business, but nobody knows about it. Let's hope that's not the case. But, we need to know how to get the word out there, how to position yourself as an influencer or somebody that's able to go to the market and be a leader in the market. What are some things you can tell the entrepreneurs watching the show, Pascal, sort of high level, about how important it is really to get the word out there?
To get the word out is just one step in the process. I think the frame starts completely on a different place. And I talk to so many successful entrepreneurs, and I've treated many of them in the past. I had a practice for Asian therapies for more than 10 years. I'm going to talk about this maybe in a minute or so. But what I found is that many of us lose the vision in their journey. They get so busy with so many things and they lose their vision, they lose their why. And for me, it's really like everything starts with the vision. And then we, of course, know we need to execute. So we kind of have the vision as a basic. We know we need to execute. And then it comes to strategy. Strategy is on the very bottom. How do I achieve the vision? And I mean, we know that and I know that your listeners often are in the business for a few years or decades. You need a team who run the strategy, right? So that's the basic. And what I always empathize and the discussion that I have with so many entrepreneurs is, how clear is that vision? How clear is it? How clear is that vision? Like, really, is it the expression of you somewhere on a paper? Do you have a mind movie? Do you have a vision board? What is it? And so many people love about that stuff, but there are studies done. If you are clear on that stuff and you spend, and this is the main question, how much time every single day do you spend in that future? How often do you close your eyes and you actually know how it feels to achieve that vision? You know the emotions, you get familiar to how it feels so that you can really make it a reality, because we have all these quantum physics and all that stuff out there, and it's a big topic today, and I agree to most of that stuff. But fact is still, a thought alone is not enough. We need to combine or to attach an emotion to the thought. And then we need to take action to make it a reality. And that's why I always love to start with the vision, because like I said, as clearer as we are on what we actually want and why, as easier it is to actually take the necessary steps to achieve that.
Yeah, and very interesting, Pascal. You talk about vision and, we look at your background, you've been a professional athlete on the world-class level. I would imagine that visualizing is very important in that sort of athletic endeavor. I mean, you've been involved with Asian therapies. You mentioned that briefly. I want to get into that in just a second. You've created multiple business in different industries, of course. You've generated millions of dollars of revenue, and you've coached more than 20,000 people. When we think about it, and we think about sort of this Asian therapy that you also, were an expert in and still are, what can you take from treating so many athletes and so many people that you've brought into this evolution of strategy achievers? What have you brought from that therapy into helping people visualize for the future?
I love this question, because this is one of the main things, one of the main epiphanies and ahas that I had. I had a franchise, and I learned through failure. I had 7 businesses in the past 15, 20 years. And we made more than 20 millions. We were in different industry, but I also faced an 8-figure bankruptcy. So within 3 months, I lost all my real estate, all my retirement money, and 8-figure bankruptcy, business and a personal bankruptcy. Within 3 months, everything was gone. So I learned a lot about what to do and what not to do. And I'm grateful and thankful for that. But to come back to your question, the main thing that I learned is like we had 13 branches, and like I think you mentioned it before, 20,000 coachings that we did. And we had so many successful people who came in broke, physical or mental diseases. And they had it all. They had cars, houses, money, fame, politician. They had it all, but they came in broke. And I was asking myself and saying, aren't you supposed to be happy? I mean, you're living the dream. You live your passion every single day. Why are so many successful athletes, entrepreneurs come and visit me with problems? So what we found was that more than 95% of all these health issues and problems were self-inflicted civilization diseases, problems that were created by the lifestyle these people choose to live, consciously or subconsciously. And then I went one level deeper, and this was the boom for me. We made another study, and we saw very clearly that the problem, or the health problem, that was what we tried to treat was, in most of the times, people getting up in the morning and they live against their core values every single day. I repeat that. They get up in the morning and they live against their core values every single day. And what I mean by that is they work for a boss 15 years that they never liked. They live in a relationship for 10 years that they don't want to be in. And all this greediness, this frustration, this anger created strokes, heart diseases, and obesity and all that stuff. That was the reason. And we are in control of that. And so I created that concept called the Core Four, because I was in a position like, I see all that value that these entrepreneurs have for the world. And I believe, honestly, that today's world need a lot of value. We need true leaders. And at the other side, I see like most of them fail because they don't have the foundation. They don't build on that foundation necessary to be successful in all areas of life for decades to come. And this is the biggest takeaway from me, to really go back to that vision. Why do I do what I do? Focus on one thing and make sure that we are incorporating life, because I always say business is just part of life. And so many entrepreneurs think like, all my time, which is my life, need to go into the business in order for it to grow. But on that journey, we realize that almost all other areas in life decrease in quality. I don't eat healthy anymore. I don't have a relationship with my wife and kids. I don't see my bodies anymore that I visit like once a week for the past 20 years. I don't do my hobbies, all suffering because of business, because of that fear. I cannot take time away from business because the business needs the time. Instead of realizing that all these things contribute to my happiness, to my being, and therefore I show up different in business and have a different impact. So these are all things that came actually back from that time that I incorporated into Strategy Achievers. It's part of the strategy. When I speak, the last sentence most of the time on stage is, make sure you reach your goals healthy. Otherwise, you won't be able to enjoy them. And I think that's what because of pain and suffer and all that stuff that I experience with so many successful people who have so much value, and just because they didn't know, they gave up or have health issues or go down and bankrupt and all that stuff. And it's just sad to watch. That's why I decided to not just watch and fix them once they broke. How can I prevent it? How can I be part of preventing those things that doesn't need to happen?
Yeah, very deep. It's you take it a level deeper. That's one of the things that resonates about what you're doing, Pascal. And of course, You mentioned that you learned through some challenges along the way, and all great entrepreneurs learn through their challenges. They get up off their knees, they get off their behind, and they kind of, dust it off and keep pushing forward. But one thing that really I love about what you talk about is you have to have your core values in line with your business. In other words, if you have a business and you go in every day to work, or you're an entrepreneur, but what you're doing is against your core values of your life, there's this mismatch. And I would imagine that mismatching, Pascal, causes a lot of problems and tension within one's life, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because this is like my personal core values, for example, it's love, purpose, empowerment, personal responsibility, and harmony. And this is who I am. This is, if I go to the very core of my identity, these are my values. And if I don't live by them and try to build some or be someone that I'm not, to please other people, companies, relationships, or whatever, my core knows that. And there is a resistance, and that's why I believe it's so important to know who we truly are without the name, without the how we look. It's not a job description. If I take all that stuff away, what is there left? Who are you? And to really know that and go back to the values and live by these values, then I can say I am on mission, because to be on mission means my identity in action with how I think, act, and feel every single day in business and life. What do I say yes to? If I say yes to this decision right now, does that contribute to achieve my vision? This is when someone truly is on mission. And if we don't do that, the body finds ways to say, hey, I don't agree. You did that for 10 times. I level up into another frequency so that you will listen. And that frequency could be something that we don't want to experience.
Wow, so interesting. I look at it and I kind of feel that this vision that you talk about, it really needs to become what I would call alive. It needs to become alive. It needs to become part of what you do to align. When people reach out to you, what's the thing that's in unalignment or non-alignment? What's the thing that's not aligning in their world or their business that you see most right now from people reaching out to you, Pascal?
Yeah, for me, it's definitely, we have the luxury to choose our people or our clients very carefully. And it need to be in line with what we do, with, first of all, with our core values. And then, of course, with my vision. And if someone, for example, focus only on fame or on money, I just believe it's the wrong energy. I'm absolutely for money. I love money. I learned to love it, but for the right reason. And I think this is why we, for example, and most entrepreneurs do that in their sales process. You have a discovery call, and then you have an audit call or a strategy call or something. But I take the discovery call literally. I want to discover, are we in line? Do we talk about the same thing? Can we truly contribute to your vision? And do we want to? Do we want to be part of that? Because I know that what we do, we create industry leaders. We make our clients the authority number one in their niche. And that's why it is important for us to really be in a position or in the space that we say, yes, we stand behind that vision, behind that person. We believe that what you do, dear client, is what the world needs. It's changing the world. It's contributing to that better world. Because at the end, we all go for one thing. And many people, and I'm not talking just about entrepreneurs now, people, society in general, they don't really have the clarity on that. They think a house make me happy. a car make me happy, that job, that amount of money on the bank. At the end, we all go for fulfillment. We want to be fulfilled. And success, what is success? Success is achievement. If we achieve something, we feel successful, then we can express gratitude, and we feel nice, we feel good, we feel happy. And that's a step to be fulfilled. And all the other things are shiny objects or beliefs that we create or have or hang on. And to really rethink that and say, okay, what is value? Everybody's talking about value, but let's talk about true value. Is what I do really something that provides value to today's society, today's world? That's why, by the way, I don't even know if I told you, I'm writing a trilogy. The first book is called Irresponsible Society, for a reason, because it's not anybody but you and me, the man in the mirror. We need to start with us. And this is what we check out in the discovery call to really make sure we are in line. We want to help you become that authority number one online in your industry. Makes a big difference for us also to work with our clients.
Yeah, I love it. You're a prolific writer. You have so many great articles that are written, and they're, up online. Everybody can just Google Pascal's name and see everything that he writes. He's got the trilogy that he's writing. When we think about it, and we think about companies, we think about people, we think about entrepreneurs living a deeper, committed, passionate life to their core values. Let's talk about that a little bit. How important is it to wake up in the morning, have all those core values aligned, have something that you mentioned earlier, something like a vision board, to get through your day in the most powerful way so that you can deliver the best possible product or service to your clients? And I'm not just talking about Pascal Bachmann, I'm talking about entrepreneurs, the people that reach out to you. How important is it to be in alignment so that their business can provide the best service or product to their clients?
I believe it's very important, not just because this is what I teach many entrepreneurs. It's because this is what I do every single day since years. And I have a bunch of journals down here. Like, I journal a lot every day, and again, that has a reason. There was, after the bankruptcy, I started to really journal and take that stuff serious. And I was just writing the story as if already achieved, not I want this, as already achieved. And like about 8 or 9 months in the process, I went back to page 1 and I realized, hey, out of the 9 things that I wrote down, 8 are achieved, and I didn't really realize it. And that's why I just believe that's super powerful, because we set the intention, and it doesn't matter what someone believes in. The belief, it's like, is it God? Who is it? I think it doesn't even matter. I think, and this is my belief, I believe that we all come from the same place. We all have that light within us. And I think this is the source that we all can connect with. And with getting up with a clear intention to be grateful for what we have. And it doesn't matter what we have, for what we have at the level that we are, to be grateful, to appreciate that, and to set the clear intention with, for example, I read my identity statement, my mission statement, and my vision statement every single morning before I have the team meeting, because I just set that frame. For me, everything is frequency. I set that frame, and therefore I attract what I let out there with the intention that I let it out there. Is it coming from the place of love, or is it just something that I made up and it's a nice, good sounding sentence on a piece of paper? The truth in it, like I said, the core values and all that stuff, I think it's this makes not just the day, but the week and the month and the years and the decades. Once we look back and we did it, we start to realize how much of it we created ourselves. And I'm sure most of your listeners know that or hear that when someone say, I could say, like, I could be in a victim mode and say, this bankruptcy happened to me. And Tony Robbins will come and say, no, it happened for you. I would say, maybe it happens through you. So what if we are the creator of everything that we experience based on the intention that we set? And that's something that I found out for myself. That's why, again, part of that book is it's us. And even if we feel like it's not, maybe it is anyway. We just don't know it, because every thought that we have is a command, it's a demand, and it goes out there. When it comes, who it receives it, how, it's not our business. But we set an intention, we let out a frequency, and the universe, the quantum field, however you want to name it, will answer. The same with our true intention about business and life in all areas for us and the people around us.
Wow. I love it. For the people watching the show, I mean, rewind what Pascal just said. I mean, rewind that last 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, that's so valuable. I mean, that could be worth so much money to your business, but also so much to your life. I mean, you said something that just is unbelievable. I mean, I could just see this being, you know, the next book you're going to write, or maybe your TED Talk coming up. Write the story as if it's already achieved. I mean, I love that so much. And you wrote and you write and you went back into your journals, and 8 of the 9 things that you wrote had already been achieved and you didn't even realize it. I mean, you set the intention. I love it. Now, let's give back to the entrepreneurs. Let's give back to some of the entrepreneurs maybe having a tough time right now, Pascal. For the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, maybe they're having a tough time freezing in the frame. Maybe they're just having a challenge. What type of advice, I'm not sure if they're based on your core 4 or not, can you give to the younger entrepreneurs about what it takes to keep on going and keep on pushing when the times get tough?
Good question. So many entrepreneurs are in that state today based on the past 2-3 years. And the number one advice I can give every entrepreneur is work on your belief system. It's about your beliefs. If, you know, there's a reason I don't have a TV. I don't read the news. I don't be part of all the things that I don't want to have in my life. Because where focus goes, energy grows. If I want it or not, it gonna grows. If I give the things attention that I don't want to have in my life, I give it energy and I make it grow without even knowing it. And if we have tough times, and I completely understand that because I went through tough times myself, what I learned is to really focus on what we want, to create that clarity, and not to just focus on one thing. Like I mentioned in the beginning, in business, we have one product, one offer, and all that stuff if it comes to strategy. But if it comes to life, to really, and this is the core 4, it's all about health, mind, harmony, and wealth. And I just believe that we need to take care of ourselves on all 4 main pillars. And when I talk about health, it's about the body, it's about mental health, but it's also about the body, exercise, nutrition, what do we eat and all that stuff, wellness. If I talk about mind, it's about the purpose. Why am I here? Remember why you're here. That problem that you may face is not the reason why you're here. It's just one part to overcome in order to become who you truly are. So it's the purpose, identity, vision, mission in all areas of life. What do I want to achieve? How do I want to feel? How do I want to look like? All that stuff in business. How much do I want to make? With what do I want to make it? With who do I want to make it? To really take the focus to these essential questions. And then pillar number 3 is harmony, which is all about love. Like, do I truly love what I do? And do I do what I love? Or is that what I do just something because I have, again, the belief somehow I need to pay the bills? That's a belief. Yes, it's true. We need to pay the bills, but it's still your choice what you do, when you do it, with who you do it, where you do it, when you do it, why you do it. We can change that. And often, or not often, most of the time, it is the belief that we have. If I have the belief that this is the only thing I learned, nobody going to hire me. Times are tough. If this is what I'm telling myself, it becomes my reality. Again, it's a frequency. We let it out there. We give it a stamp. We're going to experience what we let out there. But if we say the opposite and say, hey, let's sit down and seriously take the time, not just like have a brief talk or think about it. Take a day off. Go spend some time in nature. Take a journal and really think it through. What do I want to achieve in my life? What do I want to be? Who do I want to be? How can I become who I truly are? How do I get rid of all these layers that I'm having in my life and get rid of them? And that creates harmonies within us. And therefore, if we are healthy, if we have clarity with the mind, and if we have harmony in life, then we have a completely different impact in business. And impact leads to success, and success can lead to financial freedom, to whatever you want it to be like. But we need to become the person who change my world because of what I believe, how I think, act, and feel. So again, to summarize that, it was a little bit a long answer to a short question. Work on your belief and take the time, because only if we really write down and think, okay, what do I believe? I write all that stuff down and I start to realize it's not good. It's negative. It's not what I want. Ask yourself the question, how do I want it to be instead? And write that down. And all you have to do every single day now is stop believing in that old story that gives you nothing but bad stuff and emotions, and start to believe that the new story is possible. And if you spend enough time every single day, it becomes your reality if you take action.
Wow. Such sage advice. I already know I'm going to bring you back on the show. I think I'll have to book a full hour for you. And thank you so much for coming on the show today. I mean, for the people watching the show, I mean, where focus goes, energy grows. I mean, you heard it from Pascal. I mean, where your focus goes, energy grows. And it's so interesting to live within and with your core values and learn through failure. And of course, take yourself deeper and reach out to Pascal. And it's such an interesting journey you've had. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and imparting this deep level of wisdom that you have, the core 4, the health, mind, harmony, and wealth. I mean, I love it so much. I look forward to having you back on the show, Pascal. And thanks so much for coming on the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thank you so much, Andy, for having me. It was a pleasure. Hope to be back soon.